properly theory part. Okay? They don't digest the theory. This is my experience with you. You read Data's exposition about Sharmila Reddy. She uses that whether Dalit women will have subordinate standpoint. Now the issue is whether standpoint can be subordinate or superior. A simple thing she has not understood. She is so loaded with putting down this particular section so low that without their understanding those specific words, superiority, inferiority, they come out. So I don't believe that privileged knowledge production in this country is really a knowledge production. They have committed errors, friends, as you say. And for us, those who want to go for the alternative knowledge production will have to first have a critical age towards their knowledge production. Unless you do that, you cannot understand what are our issues and what are our real solutions. Consistently, you see the latest article, just a bakwas, and they substantiate with such a, again, made by their own people, earlier knowledge. You go for in PhD textual analysis, right? What is the contemporary world has said about this particular situation? And then you want to know several other such blah blah blah. Taking out from their mind and making it as a theory. And surprisingly, people, those who are from the non-Brahmin traditions, since they are schooled from these traditions, they also imitate these knowledge production without having the gaze of criticality. That critical gaze Dr. Ambedkar has given, Phule has given, Brahmana's Kasav, conspiracy of Brahminical, let us say, ideology. He said, those days, friends, this was not in the syllabus, otherwise we would have developed the critical age towards everything. A single sentence which comes to before you, you should have a critical understanding. And this critical, consistent engagements, I would say, don't lose even a single minute. You see the times now. What politics goes on there from 9 to 10? If somebody is saying very good, no, not only one. Again, the camera has that the agency of shifting from one place to another. Now you speak. Rarely, after 8 days consistent, let us say, speaking and having the conversation with some people, 1 or 2 points he says true. Why? Because he's from that tradition. He's loaded with his pride and prejudice. What? How can I shape my own community? We should have that critical age. And not to do that, not to watch times now. Watch it, you will come to know. And then you will come out with more vigorous way of your critical ages about knowledge production. That I will say. Okay? It's good. The new generation should have this critical age. And I would say that read several thinkers, those who contributed on these issues.
You were talking about, when you were talking about the politics of translation and autobiographies and all that, there was something you mentioned about Urmila Pawar's autobiography. Could you please expand on? And
okay. Now Urmila Pawar, as I know, is a very prominent Ambedkarite. Okay. If I give you her illustration, that she was there with us filing the FIR against Ramdev's utterance, okay, last month. On I think 7th of May, we could file the FIR against her in Azad Maidan police station. Okay. Now Gyanendra Pandey writes about conversion philosophy. For him, very important issue. They take only those issues. Okay. Why? A very pain is there that why did they convert? Okay, and so the let us say mission of his life to explain, nullify conversion. What Dalits feel about the conversion? A very prominent emancipatory state. towards the behind, rescuing themselves from the clutches of Hindu religion. Right? This is a single statement. Now she has said it, translated by someone else, and Vandana Sonalkar has given a witness. She says that, I don't know how this conversion took place. I was 10 years old, and this person called Ambedkar, he was there, and people said Ambedkar told us to go for conversion, and in Ratnagiri she went along with her siblings to convert. Now, as a person I know Urmila, I will not say that she can have this mundane reference to Ambedkar. But here is a person, he uses that. Okay, he uses in the theoretical parameter. Let's see, here is the Dalit community woman, writes autobiography, and she comments like this about the conversion. Why the conversion was there, or is really conversion important, or whether conversion as in junction is very, because there are so many people say that the conversion was not a good state. Who says is also a politics. Okay? And they all the time they use the standard in subaltern. The methodology which they use is standpoint theory, a pure Marxist methodology. Yeah.
It spoke about social exclusion. It spoke about the social injustice. Probably we are even at a phase of identifying the problem, where the problem lies, identifying the agenda to some extent, carrying about the awareness as well. So, how do we go forward about it? How do we address the issue? Do we engage with the system which has been excluding us? Do we stay out of the system and try to influence it? Or is there any other alternative? Because you have a academic background, you have been going through the theories and practices also as well. You know the law, you are a political science student, so you have an understanding of sociology as well. So what approach would you suggest to bring about a change? Because all of us in TISS have already known the problems. Most of us, I'm sure. We have always been undergoing the process of coming and knowing the injustice we face. We face it each and every day in one or the other form. One community demonized by the majority, one section, socially excluded at all. So what do you suggest exactly, or maybe, or within an English, would be the approach towards undoing this injustice that we have been facing? Is it engaging with the system, being out of the system and influencing the system, or any other alternatives?
Have you read Nancy Fraser's article on representation and recognition? Review. Okay. Review. Basic article. She has taken what we have said just now. She has taken this position that so far we have defined and redefined the problems. The time has come that we have to talk to the point and say that this is the solution. And also Marx has said, okay, she clarifies further. Right. So I would say that first of all, practically, let us go to the practical solutions. What is the literacy? What is the literacy before the independence? Now there are several types within the literacy. Some are just reading and writing. Some are going for the livelihood because of the literacy. And third, they produce knowledge levels. Okay. So, first I would say what Phule has said earlier, that we need to go for education to each and every individual. Okay. And who is stopping them not going for the education? You see all the NGOs, those who are working for downtrodden. What is their approach? Their approach is, for instance, I will give you the example of Chikar Mane, is the lady working for scavenging women in Pune. She has titled these women Parisar Bhagini. They don't want them to go for education. Why? They will have questioning. Are you getting my point? So education is a very imminent aspect at this particular juncture. People, those who got educated or have education higher level, they are involved in this trickery. They don't want to play role. They don't want to play role of a very justice-oriented knowledge producer. And in world, friends, there are so many people, those who have produced the knowledge for not their own section, but for the other sections. You have series of examples. You have tremendous contribution of Sandra Hadley for the black feminism. So here you will find that those who are already educated, either they are self-centered, or if they are doing something, taking the cause of this, they will create errors and errors. These errors, and for the non-Brahmin people to clear up this error will take ages. Okay, so I would say, I don't want to go for controlling and constraining and confining them and telling them you produce only this much, but they should use their sense as a human being, a part of the human society in which they reside and others also reside. I think the first responsibility is with them, that they should be sensible. What they produce, why do they produce? Okay, I think that takes care of it. So education, to begin with, is very important. Everybody should read. And let us not talk about others. Women should read themselves and come out, fight for themselves. You don't take their side and hide something from them. What is the politics going on over here? Parisar Bhaginis have been made Parisar Bhagini. They say in interview, I like this word. So who makes them? They are the criminals. In law, there is a category of white criminal. I would say in knowledge production, there are more criminals. We need to understand their agenda. If you are not accepting and understanding their agenda, this will continue, friends, for coming 100 years. I'm telling you this. Because I don't find anybody is coming out, as someone says that Kalpana Karnavir's article.
Ma'am, you spoke about Ross at 2-3 places in the context of justice, and what Ross proposed is post-constitution. So our constitution makers didn't have the benefit of Ross in theory, and Ross has what he has proposed is something of a political conception of justice, and for that he invokes overlapping consensus, and through where everyone has a voice and some common ground is arrived at. So in today's constitutional context, where do you see this application of overlapping consensus, and where do you see where would you place the Dalit struggle in that?
Ma'am, just to add on to his question, ma'am, can you please explain social justice with context of pluralism, roles in pluralism? With coming to BJP into power, it is more relevant of the question of pluralism.
I would say pluralism is always good for a society which has various groups with various interests, various choices. Okay, pluralism. On the contrary, I would say that pluralism is not the solution. I would say one should go for the pluralism because it gives the consensus on several accounts, and with choices and alternative and dissents, okay, and different voices. Maybe these different voices would take place of the existing traditional, even the justice-oriented voice. Okay, so there is a possibility that somebody would come out. As you said about the Rajshri theory about the justice, have you read Anthony Giddens? if you see the constitutionalism which was proposed by Aristotle and practically entered into the let us say 15th, 16th, 14th, 17th century enlightenment discourse. Okay. Now you cannot, of course, it is the volume. In case of India, we can say it is the volume of the population which is a dangerous phenomenon, because each and every individual's let us say wishes and aspirations we cannot fulfill. That is what government gives the answer when you go to the government and you say that, okay, why are you not paying attention? So to the Western world, Rawlsian theory is quite let us say relevant. But for us, we cannot just rely on one particular person. Okay, if you see the Ambedkarian ideology, Ambedkar also tries to take the philosophy which America has. At the same time, he also goes for the Irish Constitution. Why? Because outrightly new society we need to create, and in this creation you have to have the thing which is suitable to you, because you don't want to make the system to collapse. Okay, so as you said about the multiple consensus which Rawls has created, is basically not to have much crisis in the society. And so pluralism, though pluralism, but of course you will see this postmodernist pluralism, or not pluralism as such, but postmodernist approach of identity politics has posed very problematic threat to the modernist approach. Okay, and each one of us say that, okay, my interests are different than other person's interests. I think it's more of explanation.
Okay guys, we will stop here.
Okay. Thank you very much.